Today we're talking about real estate investing. It's different content for today. This is my workflow for today, so I'm going to shoot a video real quick to talk to you about how I'm doing these projects, or how I'm sourcing new lenders, or how I'm pushing my projects forward and making progress. I wish I would have recorded the phone call with the lender that I just had. I'll figure out how to do that so you can really get the real juice of what the conversation is about. I took a whole page of notes here, so I'm just going to share them with you really quickly. Just brief overview of this project. It's brand new construction, beachside, um, and the lender was asking me about the project. He's asking me about my experience. He's asking me about, how much have I done in the past, and he wants to know that he can trust me, because I'm asking for money. That's number one. You really have to be able to build trust in this game, and you have to have a track record. So if you don't have any of that, you're not going to really get far. How do you get that? You got to take on projects. Piggyback off of people that are doing fix and flips. Have a little agreement with them, saying, "Look, can I use you as a reference if I want to qualify for loans, or can I add your project as part of my portfolio so I can show lenders?" Okay, so you got to put a portfolio, a resume together, called an investment resume together, which is your progress of your projects. Okay, so it's before and after shots. It is, how much you bought the project for, how much rehab, and how much after repair value it is, and what you sold it for, and how much you netted, your cash on cash returns, all that good stuff. If you're buying and holding and just renting, then your profit loss statements. You want to put that in a nice resume so that you can either send it to them, or that you can keep in the forefront of your mind so that you could have a conversation about it with these lenders, these underwriters, because they want to know that you know what you're doing. They're not going to lend to anybody. They want to lend to people that they know what they're doing. So the notes here. This new construction project, they can loan 80% loan to value, okay, or 60% after repair value. Number one, he asked me, what's my total project cost? I told him. He's asked me, what are the comps? I told him. He wanted to know, what's my after repair value? I told him. So you need to know that and do the homework before you have these conversations, because if you get on the phone with these people and you don't have the answers, or you're fumbling around, they're not going to lend to you. In fact, he almost shot me down at the initial first conversation, the first initial couple minutes, because I did not articulate all my investors' experience. And until I told him, look, $10 million worth of real estate, multifamily, Freddie Mac loans closed during COVID, dealing with profit loss statements, turning tenants over, rehabbing, hiring, firing contractors. Until I talked the lingo and gave him real numbers, then he was like, whoa, this guy's serious. He knows what he's doing. So then now the conversation can go on. And then now he feels comfortable. Now he wants to give me, the underwriting or the insurance, not the insurance, the loan quotes, and we can continue the dialogue, right? So he said, I told him the total project cost. He said, look, we can loan you $500,000 loan amount, which is 65% loan to value of the building. So if I think the building is worth, $800,000, they can loan me 65% of the value of the building, which is $500,000. Okay. He's like, since you have so much equity in the land already, and you already dropped so much cash to buy it all out, then we can probably work with you, and you don't have to give any money. You don't have to put any money down, basically. We'll just give you the money to go and build this thing. So $500,000. What's the loan terms? Okay, you need to know the terms. The interest rate is 9.74% interest rate, 2.5 points. Okay, and I know what you're thinking, like, whoa, that's a lot of money, 9.75% interest rate. But this is interest only, so I'm not making principal payments. Okay, and you're like, whoa, what does that mean? What do you mean interest only? So it's interest only payments because this is short-term money. This is just construction loan money. So the term on this loan is 12 to 18 months and it can be extended, but you have to have justification to extend it. But this money is specifically for short term. Since they're private investors, they want to have their money in and out quickly, and they get their return of their money by lending you their money. They're going to charge up, jack up the interest rates so that they can make some money from loaning you the money, and they're out of the deal within worst case 18 months. Their money's all back, return it to the investors, and that's it. So how do you get out of the short term loan? You have to refinance into long term money or sell the property. So when you go into these projects, you need to know your exit strategy. Okay, it's not important in finding the best deal, but it's also equally, if not more important, how are you going to get out of this deal and make some money out of it? When do you get out of it? How are you going to refinance? Who are you going to sell it to? Are you going to rent it? How much your rents are? Can you offload it? You need to have those answers to all those questions so you have an idea of what's going to happen. So I'm backing through the numbers. I'm like, okay, so if my house is if this house is gonna appraise at $800,000, and I have a $500,000 loan on it, then I'm gonna be able to refinance this thing at 75% loan to value, which is about a $540,000 loan. And so I'm gonna be able to pay off that short money loan, maybe get some money in the cash in my pocket. And now I have a long-term loan, 30-year fixed rate, low interest rate for $500,000 loan, basically. Okay, and then that's how you know how you're going to get out of these short-term money. But you need to have all of this packaged up and in your mind so that you can make sense if this is going to be a good project or not. Okay. In order to also qualify for this loan, you need a scope of work. So you need to know the scope of work of what the build is going to be like. You need the builder's estimate. You need an LLC probably, because they're not going to lend to you. They're going to want to lend to an LLC. That's the least of your worries. The scope of work and the builder's estimate is probably the hardest part to get, because everybody is so swamped with work. You're going to have to deal with builders. You're going to have to deal with estimations of, okay, how much is it going to cost to put up the walls? How much is the windows costing? How much is the roof going to cost? How much is it going to frame? How much is it going to put the foundation down? How much is it going to put the trusses, to buy the truss system? What's the electrical cost to do the whole thing? What's the plumbing costs? How much is the flooring? All that stuff. So you got to get all of those estimates down. And there's there's thousands of templates to do this with. But all that homework goes into this nice package, and then you submit it to the lender. And once you have it all sorted out, they have construction draws. So you have 4 draws, 4 phases of a project. Okay, maybe draw number 1 would be, okay, we're going to do foundation and we're going to elevate the structure. That's one draw. They pay the builders and that project out for that one phase. Second phase is, okay, we're doing all electrical, plumbing, drywalling, and roofing. Okay, second phase is done, and third phase is all of the flooring, finishes, and bathrooms, all that shit. And then the fourth phase is landscaping and siding and all that stuff. Okay, so once you get all of that, they're able to make those draws to you, and that's all part of your scope of work and your builder's estimate, and that's how you're able to execute this in doing these projects. This is probably the hardest thing because it takes so much damn work. But when you see all these new constructions happening around you, know that this is what it takes. So he's going to send me 2 different quotes and work out some numbers. He also wanted to know what my credit score was. Okay. He didn't ask me about my tax returns or my pay stubs or nothing like that. Okay. Because what they're doing is they're underwriting the deal on the asset. It's the asset that's important. Okay, credit is second important because they want to know what's your history like. Do you pay your freaking bills off, basically? Okay, they're not going to loan to somebody who doesn't pay their bills. Okay, who is always late and all that stuff. No tax returns because they're writing it on the asset. They're writing it on the after repair value and loan to value, and this is why you got to package this whole thing up and have all of those numbers, because that's how they're going to get their money out after the 12 to 18 months. And this is just a new construction build that you can do on this project. You can also do it for fix and flips. Maybe I have a fix and flip project that I only need $50,000, you know? And this, you know, it's so much easier because now you can take the same process and just apply it to a building that's already established and know exactly if I drop 50 grand in, my after repair value is, you know, 200,000, then you know already it's so much easier than trying to build from scratch. However, when you build from scratch, it's just so much more rewarding to know that, look, I created this from nothing, and now look at this brand new structure here. It's an awesome project. It's definitely shouldn't be a first project, but it's a great project if you have experience. So I hope this helped you guys. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you really want to see more content like this. This is my workflow, and I just make phone calls through all these lenders, and I just write it down in my book, and then I go through it and I piece together the information that I need in order to execute on a project. So that's it. Happy investing.